We're good.
Okay, at this time I'd like to call the February 8th, 2021 council meeting to order. And this evening we have a couple representatives from Cub Scout Pack 3500. We have Damian, I guess is it Hosa or Hasa? Hosa. And Joshua Swantek, and the leader, the den leader, I guess would be Wendy Swantek. So at this time I'd like both Damian and Joshua to lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance. Whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Great job. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hazeltine. Heffinger.
Here.
Lamb.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I move that the minutes of the regular meeting of January 25th, 2021, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to council this evening and will meet again in 2 weeks. Health, Safety, and Sanitation. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no meeting scheduled, nothing to report at this time.
Thank you. Public Properties. Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Streets and Sidewalks. Mr. Heffinger.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
And Emerging Technologies. Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, no meeting scheduled at this time.
Thank you. Requests for council action. We have several for the Finance Committee. We have 21025 budget amendments, 21026 discussion on project 1025 design West Smith Road Phase 4, 2127 expenditure of $15,000 for Osborne Medina Service Department, 2128 contract expenditure with Gotcho Grant Resources AFG Grant Fire Department, 21029 amend ordinance 13120 Airport Detention Basin, 2130, letter of interest NOACA fast electric charging stations. 2131, amend ordinance 18420 for the final payment for the Rotunda project for job 1081. 2132, purchase and install Memorial Park pool heater. 2133, authorize MCRC capital improvement purchase order. And 2134, accept donation from the estate of Howard C. Ward Jr. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Regarding the COVID-19, Medina County remains in the red level. Please remain vigilant and avoid large gatherings. Wear masks in public, wash hands frequently, and social distancing. Updated information is on the business openings, safety protocols, or on the city website and the county health department website. A recent health advisory by Medina County Health Director Krista Wasowski recommends that Medina County residents should remain at home as frequently as possible to assist in curtailing the rapid spread of the COVID of late. Now, since the vaccinations have started, I'm pleased to share with the council and the community that the numbers over the last 2 to 3 weeks have been declining each and every week in Medina County, and that's, I think, indicative of people both following the safety protocols as well as the COVIDs moving through the the vaccinations moving through the community. Fiber to homes. There's a survey at this link, www.medina.litcommunities.net. And if we could get enough of our residents to fill that out, they're running fiber from Westfield Center, Lodi, Seville, Guilford Township, and preparing to come into Montville Township, and the city would be the next location, but it takes a number of interested parties to say they would be interested in the fiber, which would then, with the fiber ring that the county invested in with the help of the 3 cities, you could have multiple vendors on that fiber ring and provide a lot of competition that we don't currently have. The Christmas lights will stay on until February 22nd. January and early February are to honor our first responders, healthcare workers, and in remembrance of those we've lost as a result of the COVID. February 19th through 22nd will be to coincide with our annual ice festival, which we are having this year. It's going to be a little bit different. There's going to be one-way traffic in, one-way traffic out. They'll be marked. There'll be hand sanitizing stations. And they will not have some of the large gatherings like the competitions or the fire and ice, but they said they will have as many carvings as what we've had in the past years because the businesses were all very supportive of keeping the ice festival going. Black History Month, there was a conversation on Black History in Medina, as well as an update on police policies by Chief Kinney, and the procedures were shared on Medina TV. If you go to Medina TV or Medina TV Facebook, you can see that program if you're interested. The Ice Festival, again, will be February 19th through 27th, that should be 22nd, following the COVID protocols. And then I'd like to commend building official Dan Gladish. Dan is our chief building official, and over the last couple years, he's earned his plans examiner certification from the Ohio Board of Building Standards. This certification is only held by about 50 people in the state. Plans examinations now will occur more timely because we're keeping it in-house and with the Medina customer service model that we've established. I'd like to congratulate Dan, and I know it was a lot of work to get it, and we appreciate his efforts with that. I'd also like to extend, on behalf of the city, thoughts and prayers for the family of our former police chief, Patrick Baraducci. Chief Baraducci had 43 years of public service. After his military in the U.S. Marine Corps, he served as a police officer in Youngstown Police Department. He worked at the ATF for a number of years. He was at Boardman PD as their police chief after retiring from the ATF, and then served about 8 years in the city of Medina before Chief Ed Kinney took over as chief of the Medina Police Department. And we'd simply ask that you rest in peace, sir. And last but not least, I would like to ask Damien and Joshua to join me right here. I have a proclamation for both of you. Okay. So councilperson Jessica Hazeltine was going to be here with us, and she asked me to put this together for the two of us to present to you. But she called today and she just wasn't feeling well. So she wasn't able to attend to see it, nor was she able to attend remotely, even to take part in it. So I apologize to you on behalf that she couldn't make it, but it's not because she didn't want to be here, okay? So I'm going to read this to you, and I have one for each of you. It's a City of Medina proclamation for Damian Hosa and Joshua Swantek. Whereas scouting provides a combination of intellectual, physical, and spiritual activity to produce young people of character, well prepared to meet their family and community responsibilities, and whereas one of the objectives in the scouting program is to develop citizenship through community involvement and gaining knowledge to become an informed citizen. Whereas Damien and Joshua are to be commended for finishing the requirements for their Building a Better World adventure, which included learning about the history of the United States flag, how to properly display and fold the flag, and participation in a Scout flag ceremony to open a meeting. And whereas Damien and Joshua also learned about the rights and duties we have as American citizens, the idea of rule of law, and what it means to be loyal to your country. Whereas Damien and Joshua met with councilperson Jessica Hazeltine in order to gain an understanding of how local city government works. And now therefore, I, Dennis Hanwell, Mayor of the City of Medina, and Council Member Jessica Hazeltine, do hereby congratulate Damian Hosa and Joshua Swantek of Cub Scout Pack 3500 and wish both the very best in their future endeavors. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Medina to be affixed hereto this 8th day of February, 2021. So on behalf of the city, I want to congratulate you both, young men. There you go. Either of you like to say anything? No, thanks. Okay. God bless you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mrs. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Sergeant Zaremba, Police Department and IT Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Keith Durham, our Finance Director, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Mr. President. My only report is to remind city residents that the city does have an income tax. As far as we know, the deadline is not going to be extended this year like it was last year, so please be prepared and file by April 15th. We contract with RITA to collect the income tax for us. Their website is www.ritaohio.com.
Thank you. Mr. Mendel, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just an update from the rec center. We did invite the health department to come to the facility a few weeks ago. We talked with the health department about our capacity numbers and what we felt was comfortable. We were given the blessing to increase the number of people in the rec and the leisure pool area based on what we feel that we can handle administratively, safely, and responsibly. So that was a good thing. We have been at capacity in the leisure pool the last 5 weeks, and we do have people waiting in line to get in there. So that was important to get those numbers slightly increased. We do have some new programs that are rolling out. I would just point the residents and patrons to the rec center either on the Facebook page or on our website, as we do have some growing options, including virtual yoga class for Silver Sneakers that just started this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Piccoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Real brief. As the temperatures get colder, I just want to caution folks when they drive and navigate through the city, we do treat the roads. Salt loses its effectiveness when you get into the single digits. So we do use anti-skid agents to mix with the salt, but regardless, folks should take caution when they're driving. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today at the Finance Committee, we discussed our West Smith Road project. I want to let the public know that that project, we're now in a public comment period. The plans can be found on our city website and at several locations through town, such as the library and such. We encourage people to review it and submit any comments that they might have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have confirmation of mayoral appointments. We have a few. If there's no objection, I'd like to take them all at one time. Hearing no objection, we have the Board of Zoning Appeals. We have Chris O'Connell, alternate number 2, for a term expiring 12/31/24. We have a CIC Community Investment Corporation for Bert Humpel for a term expiring 12/31/22. We have the Economic Development Committee, Mark Greskowitz, if I said it incorrectly, I apologize, for a term expiring 12/31/24. We have Economic Development Committee, Melissa Frank, for a utility rep for a term expiring 12/31/24.
Move to confirm the mayor's appointments.
Second.
Any discussion on the confirmation of the mayoral appointments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the confirmation of the mayoral appointments?
Simpson,
Yes.
Coin,
Yes.
Heffinger,
Yes.
Rose,
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Now we have confirmation of President of Council appointments. We have one. We have a CIC Community Investment Corporation, Rick Dillsaver, for a term expiring 12/31/22.
Move to confirm the President of Council appointment.
Second?
Any discussion? Will clerk please call the roll on the confirmation of the President's appointment?
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Notices, communication, and petitions. There are none. Unfinished business. We have none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear left microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair by the vote of the majority of the council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Joshua, Damon, anything? No? Okay. Just checking. Okay, we have nothing on the Facebook that I'm aware of and nothing that was sent to me earlier today, so there's no comments. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 1421, Ordinance 1521, Ordinance 1621, Ordinance 1721, Ordinance 1821, Ordinance 1921, Ordinance 2021, Ordinance 2121, Resolution 2221, Ordinance 2321, Resolution 2421, and Ordinance 2521.
I will make a motion to suspend the rule requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second?
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
We have ordinance 1421, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of 25 Dell computers, 25 monitors, and 25 Microsoft Word licenses from NNJ Technologies for various departments at the city of Medina.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance. Sergeant Zaremba?
This is our yearly renewal for PC citywide, approximately 100 machines. We're going on a 4-year cycle, so we're about 25 machines, includes monitors and the latest version of Microsoft Office, Open Volume. We request the emergency clause because our quotes are 30 days in running on pricing.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the emergency clause and or the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 1421 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 1521, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for a 1-year supply of various kinds of maintenance materials needed for the streets and water lines, including but not limited to salt, the chemicals for use for treatment of water meters to be used in various departments of the city of Medina, Ohio.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is our annual bid for materials used in service and in other departments here in the city. Items include concrete, stone, bagged salt, water meters, as you stated, as well as other maintenance items for the water mains. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 15-21 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 1621, ordinance authorizing expenditure to Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company for the sanitation department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance will allow for tire service and sanitation department. Tires are picked up and delivered to and from the city garage, and the city's well served by this vendor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 1621 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 1721, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of $60,000 to Signal Service Company for the street department.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Pacoli.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance will allow for use of the vendor that we used to utilize in the traffic signal program. that is above the capacity of our employees. It's specialized technology and electronic repair and maintenance on the signal system.
Any further discussion? Will clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 1721 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 1821, ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for the East Reagan Parkway Multipurpose Trail, project number 1066.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some time ago, the city received a grant from ODNR to install this multi-purpose trail. It'll extend from where the ODOT installed trail on 42 North Court Street along East Reagan to where our current trail ends near Larkins Way.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Ordinance 1821 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 1921, ordinance authorizing the purchase of new lockers from DeBurl Manufacturing for the Police Department locker room project.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Chief Kenny.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are lockers for our remodel of the men and women's locker rooms in the police department.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 1921 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 2021, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to accept 3 easements necessary for the East Liberty Storm Sewer Installation Project.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you. This project is part of our residential drainage improvements. It's a smaller project, but we did need to acquire 3 easements to complete it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 2021 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 2121, an ordinance amending ordinance number 14220 passed August 24th, 2020 relative to the payment for the design build contract for CPS Construction, Inc. for design and construction of the City Hall parking structure.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Patton.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the final agreed amount after negotiation with CPS Construction. Just to give council some background, the original project contract was $3,714,000. This is $30,000 more than that. The original budget for the project was $3.8 million, so we're still below that number.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 2121 passes 5-0.
Resolution 2221, a resolution authorizing the mayor to apply to the State of Ohio Departmental Services Agency for an amendment pertaining to the Small Cities Fiscal Year 19 Community Development Block Grant CDBG program.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
the emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on the emergency clause and the resolution. Mr. Mendel.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to permit the administration to request and accept an amendment to the current PY19 grant allocation grant that we have through the state of Ohio. In it, there's activities. One of the activities was $20,000 to help pay for a new comprehensive plan for the city, and another one was a pile of money for parks to do some improvements at Ray Mellert Park. Due to COVID last year, and still as to this year, and that we're still at the beginning of starting a new comprehensive plan process, and due to the deadlines that are set in stone in the allocation as of end of August of this year, we will not be able to use the $20,000 for the new comprehensive plan. But in order for the city to retain those dollars to offset general fund dollars, this amendment would allocate that $20,000 to the parks activity in the current grant, so that it can help offset the match that we would have had to do for the parks improvements. So, an emergency clause is just because the all activities and payments have to be done by August 31st of this year. That way we can get the amendment rolling and get it all squared away so that we can spend that money and get reimbursed for it within this year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the resolution or the emergency clause? Just for clarification for Joshua and Damian, the emergency clause, when we have emergency clause, usually what happens when you pass an ordinance or resolution in the city of Medina, once we pass it on council without an emergency clause, it takes 30 days to become effective. When we say we want the emergency clause, it becomes effective immediately, like tonight. So that's why we do when we talk about the emergency clause. So there's a little something that you can learn about the city and the governance of the city ordinances. So will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Resolution 2221 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 2321, ordinance amending ordinance number 21720 passed December 14th, 2020, amendments to the 2021 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Durham?
Thank you, Mr. President. These are a couple of appropriation adjustments in the court.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 2321 passes 5-0.
Resolution 2421, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept and sign a receipt and release for a $75,000 donation from the estate of Howard C. Ward, Jr. in memory of the Medina High School class of 1941 to be used for Christmas lighting and/or Christmas decorations for the town square.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. I think Mr. Huber, you took this in finance?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ward, Howard Ward Jr., grew up in the city of Medina. He graduated from Medina High School in 1941. He graciously left to the city of Medina a bequest upon his death, which was not too long ago. The bequest was in the sum of $75,000. The bequest asked that the monies be used for Christmas decorations or lighting, and so the money will be earmarked for that purpose. The bequest is in memory of the high school class of 1941 and also in his memory. This resolution also authorizes the mayor the ability to sign the receipt for receipt of the monies.
Thank you, and this is a great honor for the city of Medina to receive such a bequest from a member of the class of 1941, and we are thankful for the request and are honored to have the request and bequest from Howard C. Ward Jr., and are thankful to the family too, and have sympathy to the family of his passing. Is there any further discussion on the resolution? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Resolution 2421 passes 5-0.
Ordinance 2521, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Gotcho Grant Resource to work on the city's behalf to apply for the assistance to the firefighters grant AFG for the replacement of the air tanks for the fire department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields?
The emergency clause has been requested. I move to add at this time.
My second includes the emergency clause?
Discussion on the emergency clause in the ordinance. Mayor Hamel.
Thank you, Mr. President. This grant is for the self-contained breathing apparatus that our firemen use when they go into a fire. And we've tried this grant before and we're not successful, so we'd like to try again. They didn't do any of these grants in 2020, so although we're into 2021, this is 2020's grant, and if we're not successful, there's going to be another round in September. The reason for the emergency clause is we didn't get the paperwork from Gotcho Grant Resources until January 25th, which was the day of our last council meeting, but beyond the deadline to get it on that agenda, and we have to have the paperwork turned in by February 12th. As a result, rather than go to 2 council meetings and do it without the emergency clause, we need the emergency clause and had to go from finance to council tonight to meet their deadline. Thank you.
Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance and/or the resolution? Will clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Clerk, please call the roll on adoption of the ordinance.
Heffinger.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 2521 passes 5-0.
All right, council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple things. First, I'd like to thank the two young gentlemen here for your hard work, and we're always proud when somebody comes up to get this recognition that you obviously deserve. So thank you for the work that you're doing. I'd like to thank Mr. Gladish for the certification that he's received recently. He's such an asset, as all our department heads are to the city. I'd like to offer my sympathy to the Berarducci family through this time, and the only other thing is be kind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other council comments?
Mr. President?
Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations to the Scouts. I was a committee chairman many, many years ago, back in the 1900s. I know it's a lot of work for you guys, so congratulations. Keep up the good work. Well, one thing, my annual comment that I make, please keep your fire hydrants clear. We're getting to that time of year where we're going to be getting more snow. Things are going to be freezing up. Please keep if you have a fire hydrant near your property, when you're shoveling the snow, shovel it to help the firefighters. God forbid that they should have to be in your neighborhood. And to Judy and Patrick and Megan Berarducci, I want to offer you my sincerest sympathies. I know I did work closely with Bear on some things that I was able to see parts of the police department that I never would have been able to see without him exposing me to it. So I am grateful for that experience, and I'll always remember it, and you guys will always be in my prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional council comments? All right, hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.